From iGuide Movies, I'm Timothy Guy, and with me as always,
Stephanie Holland.
she's here. Stephanie, this is a busy week for movies.
Right, because we've had a couple slow weeks, so we finally got some movies opening this week.
Well, let's be clear. It's busy, but
I didn't say they were good movies.
in terms of quantity, yes. Quality, we'll get there.
So starting with our
You want me to start with that one?
Go ahead.
Okay, so Dredd 3D. Yes, don't be alarmed. It's a Judge Dredd movie. No Sylvester Stallone. No Rob Schneider.
Right. Here's the thing. My funny little story about Judge Dredd. That is the only movie in the history of all the millions of movies that I've seen that I ever went to the box office and got a refund because it was so bad. And I've seen a lot of bad movies, but none of them ever compelled me to go and get my money back, and that was the only one.
Fun fact, mine was Sin City.
And I talked people in line out of going to see it as I was leaving the theater.
That's probably for the best. I think you at least save them some money in therapy bills, I think. So this one stars Carl Urban from, of course, Star Trek.
Yeah.
He plays a character who's well known in England, comic books.
Yeah.
He's more well known. What it is Judge Dredd. There's these series of cops, but they're not just cops, they're the judge, they're the jury, and they're also the executioner.
So they decide on the spot what's going to happen to you. There's no trial or anything.
And it's a rated R movie, so guess what happens?
Yeah, there's lots of killing.
And so what it is he has to go to this 200-story building and fight his way up to get the bad guy at the very top.
Lena Headey from Game of Thrones. She's so awesome on Game of Thrones. She plays the bad guy who he's trying to get to at the top of the building, and so he and his young rookie partner have to fight their way to get to her.
Fun fact, he does not take the helmet off the entire movie.
So it could be Carl Urban, it could be whoever.
It might be Justin Timberlake for all we know.
But, you know, I have no interest in seeing this. I think the thing about this movie is it could be great, but the first movie has just ruined the title for people. So,
well, it's in 3D. It's a hard R, so I think it's going to find an audience.
I'm not sure it needs to be in 3D, but...
Well, here's another movie that, well, we don't know really much about, but it's called The House at the End of the Street, starring everyone's favorite girl, Jennifer Lawrence.
I think if we've seen the commercials, we can figure out what this movie is about.
It's a scary movie. She moves in with her mom, played by Elizabeth Shue. Everything's fine. Maybe they're not getting along too great.
They move into this neighborhood, and the house next door, the girl who lived there murdered her family. And so then, you know, the girl befriends Jennifer Lawrence's brother or something like that.
No, it's the brother of the girl who murdered everybody.
Yeah, the brother of the girl who murdered everybody. And then...
We need a flow chart. I'm sorry.
People go to the house and then get killed horribly.
There's something in that house. We don't know what it is. It could be a mutilated brother or, you know.
At any rate, it's, like Tim said, it's a horror movie, but... There's going to be a lot of terrible deaths. If that's not your cup of tea, you probably want to stay away from this.
They're banking on Jennifer Lawrence's popularity with the Hunger Games.
Right, and my guess is, I'm not positive, don't quote me, my guess is she probably shot this before the Hunger Games.
Well,
this is what happens a lot. Somebody will shoot a movie, then they'll become a big star, and then all of a sudden their terrible movie gets wide release.
Well, it's always that post-Oscar win, you know,
Yeah.
like Halle Berry with Catwoman. So,
but she knew what she was doing, so,
yeah.
But...
So the third movie, which I'm basically sick of seeing the trailer for this movie, and here's the reason why. If you go to the movies at AMC or Regal, you're going to get this trailer, no matter what movie you see it with.
Yeah.
It's because they own a stake in the movie company, so that's why the trailer gets played.
I feel like I've been hearing about this movie for about 5 years.
We're talking about End of Watch. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal. He's a cop.
Michael Pena's his partner.
Anna Kendrick's in it. America Ferrera's in it too. They're, you know, take no prisoners cops, and they keep video cameras with them, and they stumble upon this cartel plot. The cartel wants to kill them, so it's Blair Witchy to a point.
It's like part found footage, part regular movie.
Yeah.
So like the cop stuff is sort of like found footage. Now that doesn't mean it's, you know, Blair Witch style where nobody was alive to give. It's like they were shooting a cops style show, and that's where like the footage comes from.
It comes out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't tell you our level of exasperation with this movie, because when you see movies as much as we do, there's some trailers you see a lot of, but this trailer has been with every movie. And the thing is, when you go see a romantic comedy, you get the romantic comedy trailers. You see a kids movie, you get the kids movie trailers. You see Avengers, you get all the big action superhero movies. This trailer has been with every movie. I went and saw Rock of Ages. They showed the trailer for this before Rock of Ages.
I went and saw Oogie Loves, and they played it in that one too. And I was like, what?
So, and they had a panel at Comic-Con, which, by the way, people could not have cared less about this panel, but they put it on a day where people are waiting to get into other big stuff. So,
Like, wow, look at this turnout. It's great.
Yeah,
Like, oh, they're here for Twilight.
yeah. So it's just, we're just sick of this movie. We just wanted to come and go.
We saved the best for last, which I think could be, at least quality-wise,
Yeah.
the best movie of the week, which is Trouble with a Curve, which is the new Clint Eastwood movie.
I just want to mention
directing or writing, he's just
not,
starring.
Not really saying much to say it's the best of this week.
well,
But,
there's that.
but the thing about Clint Eastwood is we're not going to talk about the other stuff happening with
I
Clint
have an
Eastwood.
empty chair over here, though, if you'd like to go into that.
No, but the thing about Clint Eastwood is he hasn't made a movie that he did not direct or write in years.
Yeah, and this is his first starring role since Gran Torino, which was supposed to be his retirement from acting.
Right, I thought he was done. Turns out he's not. But Amy Adams plays his daughter. He plays an old-time baseball scout, and he does things the old school way. He's not down with these newfangled computers and
Face pages.
Yeah, and all that stuff. You know, Clint Eastwood's playing the grumpy old guy. What? I know, right? Surprise. Amy Adams is his daughter. She goes on this one last scouting trip with him because everybody thinks he's too old and too grumpy and he's getting kicked out of the business.
I'm guessing they never really bonded before.
Yeah,
and this is going to bring them together.
She's there to help him. And along the way, they meet another scout who happens to be played by Justin Timberlake. I don't know about baseball scouts, but I'm guessing not many of them look like Justin Timberlake.
They look more like John Goodman, probably, who's also in the
John
movie.
Goodman's in the movie. Matthew Lillard's in the movie.
Matthew Lillard, can we just stop for a quick second about
Absolutely.
Matthew Lillard? He had the Scream, the Scooby-Doo, and people were really kind of hammering him.
Yeah.
But then he did The Descendants, and he got rave reviews for that movie. So I think he's really choosing roles better.
Yeah, he could really jumpstart his career as sort of a character actor. He was on an episode of Leverage a couple weeks ago. Really funny on that episode. So
do we need to even have our picks of the week? Because I think it's pretty obvious.
I would say if you're going to see something, then I would say go see Trouble with the Curve, because it's hard to go wrong with Clint Eastwood. Even when he's not directing or writing the movie, you know, he's still Clint Eastwood.
But actually, the guy who directed it has worked with Clint Eastwood for years, so that's probably why he got.
And I like Justin Timberlake a lot. I wish he'd make some music at some point, but you have to admit that his acting seems to be getting better with every movie. So working with Clint Eastwood and John Goodman and Amy Adams can only improve him. So
it's a step up for him. So we'll see you next week. Next week we have an even more crowded, if you can believe that. So.
And I think we might have one DVD to talk about next week.
I don't know what.
So.
Google it. See you next week.